Welcome to the Swingerverse, where you get to taste the lifestyle. We are the Upsidedown Pineapples, and your host, Phil, and she's not here right now. She will be here shortly. We're going to try this again. Hey, Tammy. We going to take two on this one. So thank you for spending time with us in the Swingerverse. The Upsidedown Pineapple is all about the lifestyle, educating, encouraging, and enhancing the entire lifestyle experience, not just the hookah. So to recap, since we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with the first one, welcome back, everybody. As everybody comes back into the live podcast here. Let's just recap for those that are getting in for the first time. Holy shit, what a weekend! Holy shit, what a weekend! I'll give everybody a couple minutes here to kind of get back into the groove here, back into the groove of things here. But
shots?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. We'll do a shot. I did enough this weekend. I bought 80 of them.
You did indeed. Had
a lot left.
I did. We ended up getting rid of most of it, but I bought 80 freaking shots from the bar. I bought 80 shots. Yes. 80 shots just for the podcast.
You missed a party.
Yeah, I know.
You missed a party, and you missed a party, and you missed a party.
Yeah, literally 80 shots. Not even just shots. See, and they talked me into those shots because of the way they are, and they use boobs as a way to sell them to me. And
it's really hard to say no to boobs.
And nobody did them that way.
That's true. That's true. You're absolutely right.
Nobody did them that way. The selling point on those shots were the boobs. You know what? You can do these shots out of boobs.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Not one person. Hey, Glenn. Not one person did a shot that way. And honestly, they all picked Kim's gummy bears anyway, so it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
I did give everybody a choice, not knowing if they could drink vodka or not, of the shooters or the vodka gummy bears. Every one of them, for some reason, picked Kim's gummy bears. I'm not really that shocked, but I still bought 80 shots, which made me do a lot of shots.
Let's face it, she was just a better salesman.
She was a much better salesman. Much better salesman.
She's got better boobs than you.
That's true.
She had the quid pro quo.
That is true. So let me recap this front part because I think it's really, really important. So everybody that was at the event, everybody that stopped by the live podcast, everybody that came to Swing You, everybody that we talked to, everybody that we had drinks with, everybody that had one of the 80 shots, thank you. From me and Kim, even though Kim's not here, she's on her way. Thank you. We had an absolute blast, and we'll touch on different aspects here real quickly as we go. But I just want to make sure you know how much we appreciate the new friends, the old friends, the conversations, the laughs. Everything about last weekend was amazing. So thank you to everybody that was associated and there with the Upside Down Pineapple. Holy fuck, thank you. Because I was a disaster as it was, but we got through it because of all of your guys' help. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
It was a hell of a weekend. So where I was and where we left off on the first podcast here, where we were having some technical difficulties, Swing You was crazy attended. They just kept showing up. And I was shocked because talking to John, the host, one of the things he kept telling me was 60% of the people there were returning attendees. So you have a Swing You class for newbies. You're not really expecting too many returning people to come. And they just kept showing up.
And it worked out better.
And it worked out much better because we had a great interactive session where the people that were there and that had been to the event prior were able to chime in, add some input to it. We had some fun. And one of the new couples that was there came up to me afterwards and was like, thank you. This is literally our first event ever.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a clue walking in what to expect and everything like that. And they they had their suitcase with them. They had not even checked into their hotel room yet, and they showed up at Swing You.
Yeah.
And then when I went to bed at God knows what time, They were still outside.
I'm not God, but I know what time.
Yeah. They were still outside having a blast. We were watching some of the contests. There they were sitting there watching the contest. So it was awesome to see that part.
You know, it wasn't a first event for us, obviously, but it was our first hotel takeover. And the swing you side of things and having the experienced people. I mean, the one couple said they've been 17 years or something ridiculous, something crazy like that. They were in the lifestyle, and having them be there as well as the new people really made it a very community event, or class, if you will. And it really added to it.
It did, and with having them in the audience, they could begin asking questions and bringing up topics as we were doing the educational portion that made or allowed the new folks that were in the group comfortable enough to talk. So they were, because if it had been all new people, could have very easily gotten into a spot where we're just sitting there and everybody's looking at each other like, I've got questions, but I'm not going to ask them, because
it could have definitely turned into a lecture very quickly.
So it was good having them.
But yeah, that one was, because literally one of the first things John told me was how many of his people who were attending were returning attendees. So I got a little nervous about the Swing U class, but when they just kept walking in and walking in and walking in, I was like, okay, then here we go. It was great to see. And
we filled that space up. I didn't think we would. But we
filled that place too. We didn't have an extra seat. We were literally full the entire way. So that was our kickoff to the event. Kim's not here, but something hit Kim the other night, on Friday night actually, when we were testing the podcast system. She had a couple come up to her from Albany and was like, I listened to your podcast. Thank you. She literally comes running over to me. Kim's like a 2-year-old. Wait till you see her show.
In a good way.
In a good way. She's like a 2-year-old. She gets so excited. She gets so happy. But wait till you see how happy and excited she is when she shows up here tonight with that new whip.
No doubt.
And was like, you have to come over here. They're from Albany and they listen to us. And I was like, okay. But for her, it like all clicked. And she's like, oh my God, it's not just close people that are listening to her talk, or listening to her hide when Dom talks, or listening to her say everybody loves free. They know who she is. And she found out that the hard way for the rest of the freaking event. So
yeah, and it wasn't just people that are in our group that we were dealing with there. There were these people from Albany. They're obviously not in FSS, BSS, or
any other group,
any of the clubs that we go to, any of those sorts of things. But bam, there they were.
The recognition was a bit. It was twofold. It was nice to see, but it was also surprising.
Yes,
it truly was.
I walked out of my room at one point, and Becca and I were in the room. We walked out into the hallway, and I had a group of like 7 people down the hallway yell, "Yay, man! Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, how you guys doing? What's happening?" Start walking down the hallway with Becca. She goes, "How do you know those people?" I said, "I don't."
And that's she asks me that all the time. How do you know them? And I'm like, I don't. I just met them now. But again, remember, this is since January. This is since January.
All very new.
This is all new, and it's just, and since the weekend, it's gotten crazy.
It's not just the new folks in the lifestyle that are learning. We're learning.
We're learning as we go.
Process, the podcast, the Swing U, the website, all the different aspects of it. We're learning as we grow too, and we're trying to tailor it to make it the best experience for everybody that